stage, and I call on Deputy Ruth Coppinger to move for leave to introduce the bill.
I seek leave be granted to introduce the Equal Participation in Schools Bill 2016. We live in a state where it's perfectly legal to discriminate against a child being admitted to a school based on that child's religion or lack of religion, and this bill seeks to end that discrimination. We live in a state where we have a multitude of religious beliefs and a growing number of people of no religious belief, but yet in our schools we can segregate and discriminate on the grounds of religion. We live side by side with people of different beliefs and we work side by side with them, but yet our schools are separating people on the grounds of religious division based on their parents. So this bill would end that. This bill also seeks to recognise that we live in a diverse society. Society has changed hugely since schools were established in many cases and since this Act gave permission to schools to segregate on religious grounds on the belief of their parents. There's a huge demand for change, and it's shown by numerous polls that have been done. Equate, for example, have published polls showing that 62% of people agree that school patronage in Ireland should be a key priority for this government, that it is seen as something that must be changed. 82% of people agree with the concept that the Irish education system should be reformed so no child is excluded because of their religion or non-religion. And 87% agree that the state has a responsibility to ensure children don't experience religious discrimination in the school curriculum itself. But yet this Dáil is very much behind that curve. It seems that the government is attempting to actually backtrack on what was the perceived belief in the last government, that there was going to be a change to Section 73C of the Equal Status Act that allows this discrimination. Instead, it would seem from reports that the government plans to introduce a new system which would allow patronage remain in the hands of largely, obviously, the Catholic Church, but also keep the segregation and not get rid of what's called the baptismal barrier. I think that that's wrong. I think it's regressive, and that it's timely that we bring forward this bill to put pressure on the government to recognise that society has changed and that they should reflect that change. The second aim of this bill is, as well as the baptismal barrier and the deletion of Section 73C of the Equal Status Act, it also deals with some of the legislation in our education acts which allow that when children get into a school, when they enter the school gates, no account is taken of their religious viewpoint or non-religion, and they are discriminated throughout the school day. For example, there's a constitutional right to opt out of religious instruction, but that right is not facilitated in schools on a daily basis. It's a particular problem when there are large amounts of the school timetable given over to religious ceremonies, particularly First Communion year, where a huge amount of time is spent by teachers doing that. Those not of the religion or those not taking part in that are segregated within the class. In many cases, what simply happens is that a child is put at the back of the class and they still listen to all of the other religious instruction that's given to the other children. The opt-out has to be facilitated, and there has to be change in the education system whereby a school ethos doesn't pervade for all of the students throughout the school day. We actually need an opt-in, not an opt-out. Yes, our school facilities can be given over to parents who want to practice their religious beliefs after the school day ends. I'm absolutely in favour of that. As a socialist, I stand for freedom of religious expression, but I also stand for a complete separation of church and state. A person's religion or their personal belief shouldn't be imposed on others by the state's laws and at the taxpayer's expense. Who is paying for these schools? These are all taxpayer-funded schools. The staff and all of the other facilities are paid for by the taxpayer. We also need to amend Section 37 of the Employment Equality Act to end religious discrimination against school staff. But I think that this is a very important bill, and the government should take note and move on this and move with the times as well.
Thank you very much, Deputy. Is the bill being opposed?
No.
It's not being opposed.